Oh, welcome to the Sharpe. We're so happy to have you with me this evening. A little bit past, actually right at 7:15 on the East Coast. I know I purposely went 15 minutes late because I was, as always, packed end of the week trying to get some stuff wrapped up, got a bunch wrapped up. And also I had to find a couple of good videos for this show because a lot of stuff is going on here that I think will affect some of you. And there's some misunderstandings, perhaps I'll say that are actually happening that are happening in New York City that will, of course, affect you. Because I know some of you are saying to yourself, oh, Larry, you and your New York City stuff, you think you're so important. I mean, I am, but that isn't the point. What I'm saying is what happens in New York City very often is going to come affect you. That's all I'm saying. Very often it's going to come and affect you. So I'm saying here that if you see what's happening here, you can see what's happening where you are too. That whole piece is what matters, right? So that's an important piece to understand here. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the New York City mayoral race. And in that race right now, if you go back about, 2 months, it was so screaming obvious that Cuomo was going to run away with this, right? Everybody said that. I didn't say he'd run away with it. I said he's going to win. As of 2 days ago with the debate, a lot of people are saying, wait a minute, maybe Mamdani is going to win. I'm not saying that's the thing Cuomo's going to win. I'll explain why in a moment. I'll give you my views on this, and you'll see what's going on. But you might say to yourself, wait a minute, why would Mamdani, for those who don't know, Zohran Mamdani is an active member of the Democratic Socialists of America. He is further left than Cuomo, further left than AOC, and openly and happily and aggressively that. He is absolutely that way 100%. So that's who he is. And you might say, well, wait a minute, Larry, why would New York want someone like that? Well, I'm going to show you why in a second, right? New York is left anyway. You might go, why wouldn't they want someone else, right? Well, another option is, why would they want Cuomo? Why is Cuomo and why is Mamdani? Why are these two guys the top dogs? Why? How is that possible? Well, because Cuomo is establishment. Literally, he's the establishment. And a lot of people in New York City like that. They really do. The amount of times I heard people say, well, he's got to have the experience. I hear that all the time. Constantly. I hear that all the time. People who vote. Does he have experience? What experience does he have? The city's a disaster. The state's a disaster, and they want more experience. But it's just true. It's how many New Yorkers think. And the other side is the left is the only answer. Trump is evil. Mamdani is going to stop him. So there's those two pieces. But also what I've been talking about in the past, and I'm going to show you that right now. Mamdani has one big advantage. He has an actual plan. Now, some of you are going to be like, wait a minute, that plan, that's a terrible plan. But how many times have I told you? No plan versus a bad plan, people pick the bad plan. And I agree, he has a bad plan. I'm not, I am in no way endorsing Mamdani's plan. I am not doing that. Please don't think I'm saying that. I'm saying what works, not what I agree with, right? What works. And what works is having a plan. I've been telling you and telling Democrats, if you want to have any chance of winning, go economically left. I think economic left is a disaster, but Americans don't think that. It's obvious they don't think that. And that's what's happening. He's decided to go economically left. That's true, right? That's what people wanted to see. And that's a big difference. Let me grab a couple pieces if I could. This is the most important piece I'm going to grab. This is the first question they asked. The first question they asked in the debate. And this is why it matters so much. The question they asked is critical. Why? You'll see right now why it is so critical and how it worked. Again, for the first question they asked in the debate. Let me pop here if I can.
From 30 Rock, and welcome to the first Democratic Bloomberg Senior, NYC, New York, and this first hour also live on channel. Question and answer. You'll have 1 minute to respond.
All right, here we go.
And we'll offer 30-second rebuttals.
This is the 30-second
moderator's
first one.
Discretion. We'll also be asking some questions where we're looking for shorter things you have to say. Good luck to you all. We'll begin with Melissa Russo.
All right. This is the first question, and they want to be very specific, and they say 30 seconds. Right? Okay.
Thank you, David. Good evening, everyone. It's good to have you. We're going to begin tonight with the issue that polls show is number one for New Yorkers, and that is affordability. Yep. The cost of everything is squeezing residents in our city. New housing can take years to build, and we'll get to your plans on that a little bit later in the debate. But
so she's talking about, she prefaced this by saying, don't talk about housing, that will take years. That's what she's saying. Remember what she said. That's what she said.
But right now, we're interested in how you would help residents immediately. So what's your one big idea?
I gotta reinforce this. What's your one big idea to help immediately? And please don't talk about housing that will take years to build. This is actually a very good question.
To make the city more affordable now, and how will you pay for it? We'll begin with you, Ms. Adams.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me this evening. You know, I'm actually the only candidate on this stage who is actually doing the work already.
I have the experience. She knows what Democrats in New York City want to hear.
Housing plan already. I have built and delivered 120,000 new units.
She literally says, I have built, like she's done something. I have built. She built it. She did not.
Of housing. And now with the new proposal that we have in front of us, we have over 80,000 new units of housing that will be coming up and will be affordable to the people of the city.
She literally said, don't use housing. Today, she ignored it.
City of New York. New York is not affordable. I'm a mother, a grandmother, and I want my children to stay here, just like real New Yorkers want their children to stay here.
Thank you, Ms. Adams. I should remind everyone, this is a 30-second answer. We'll go to you next, Mr. Lander.
Thank you, Melissa. Good evening, everyone. I'm Brad Lander. I'm the New York City Controller. I'm a lifelong affordable housing activist, and I'm a proud Brooklyn dad.
None of that meant anything at all.
Tonight, I'll show you that I'm the only one in this race with the progressive values to make this city more affordable, with the public integrity to sweep away the corruption of Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo.
Okay, he's currently in government, and so is she. Both of them are currently in New York City government and have been for years. And I'm going to make things work. You've been in government the whole time.
And with the proven management experience, having already delivered over 50,000 affordable homes.
He built 50. She built 100-something. That's not good. I don't know. These guys are all building housing everywhere. How come New York has problems? I don't get it.
To actually deliver on my promises, I'll get 500,000 homes built over the next 10 years.
500,000 built over the next 10 years. Wow, that's nice. She said today. He ignored that question again.
Okay, we're going to move on to Ms. Ramos. I want to remind everyone the question.
She's saying, will one of you guys answer the question, please? Will one of you give me an answer?
What is your one big idea to make the city more affordable now, and how will you pay for it? 30 seconds, Ms. Ramos.
Thank you, Melissa. Good evening. Buenas noches to everyone watching at home. Thank you so much for holding this forum. Affordability has been top of mind for New Yorkers since before the pandemic, but the pandemic only exacerbated the conditions for New Yorkers. This is why I set out as chair of the Labor Committee in the New York State Senate to raise the minimum
They've all been in government. They're the problem.
Wage to tie it to inflation. And I'm proud to be the last person to have done that. I'm the only person on this stage tonight who has already had a desk at the mayor's office. And this is why I know that the first thing I want to do on day one is enact a mental health emergency so that we can keep our streets safe.
Okay, Ms.
Did not answer the question at all. No, 3 in a row. Now, you might say, Larry, why does this matter? Why are you harping on this so much? Because none of them have a plan. Because none of them have a plan. So how can Cuomo or Mamdani do anything? None of them have. The other ones don't have a plan.
Your big idea. I haven't heard many big ideas yet. So if you can answer the question, please.
And he's going to say, oh, I got ideas. Watch my ideas. I got you. This guy, he's
in
ready
30
to go.
seconds, your big idea to make the city more affordable now, and how will you pay?
She has to repeat the question 3 times. These guys won't answer.
Pay for it.
Thank you, Melissa. I don't have one big idea. I have 3. I want to deliver 1 million homes over the next 10 years. I want universal after school for every kid in this city from age 3 to grade 12. And I want to extend pre-K and 3K past 2:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. My parents came here 50 years ago, worked in factories.
So his answer is, I'm just going to make sure the government takes care of your kids. Okay, well, that's something. Here's how I'm going to help you out. The government's going to take care of your kids. All right, I guess that's something.
To put food on the table.
And again, people like this in New York City. You might be saying, what? Why do I want the government to take care of my kids? New York City people are like, yeah, this is my man. I'll take care of my kids. I can have kids, give them to him, and I'll be good. Saturday, Sunday, he got them. Nice.
Where union members sent me to public schools. And that's how I became a state senator and why I'm standing on this stage tonight. That same opportunity needs to be restored for so many New Yorkers.
See?
And that
opportunity has to be set up. When your parents came, was New York City taking all the kids? It wasn't. When your parents came, was New York City having universal free pre-K? It wasn't. So he's like, we got to go back to that. We never had it, my friend. When your parents were doing this, when my parents were doing this, and I grew up in New York City too, they didn't have that.
Is why new leadership is needed, not the leaders of the past that caused the problem.
Thank you, Mr. Myrie. Mr. Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank WNBC and Telemundo for hosting today in Buenos noches.
Buenos noches. See? See? As much as I can't stand that man, and you know I cannot stand that man, he is still a good politician. I mean, no matter what you got, I gotta respect the game. Like, I gotta respect the game. That's all I could say. Threw that Buenos noches right out there. He's like, I got you. I gotta give him that. That's all I'm saying.
I'm running for mayor because I think the city is in real trouble. I think we have a management crisis between the Adams and Lander administration. I think we have a fiscal.
Now he throws Landers there because Landers also is currently in the system. They're all in the system. So basically, we have a management crisis. All these guys who are in government now, well, they all suck. And I had the experience. Now he has no plan either. But the one thing that Cuomo has that none of these other guys have is clear and obvious executive experience. And I know some of you are like, yeah, but he was terrible. You're right. He's terrible. But New York City people really love experience. It's a thing they care about. And you might think I'm crazy. It's just true. I'll go on the street and ask people, you about Cuomo? Well, you know, he's got the experience. I will hear those words out of people's mouths. New York City people want someone, and he knows it. His pollsters know that. That's why he says it.
Crisis where the city is actually spending more every year than it is taking in. And I think we have a societal crisis where we have division and hate. On affordability, raise the minimum wage, put more money in people's pocket, more child care, after school care.
Now, that was the plan. By the way, no way of paying for it. None. We're going to just raise the minimum wage, just because, and we're going to the state will take care of the kids. He covered both of those, right? The other guy, one said minimum wage a little bit, one said take care of the kids. He said, I have all the experience. And by the way, just let take care of your kids and we'll just pay you more because magic.
And then, of course, build affordable housing. I was the HUD secretary. I know how to do it.
Thank you. I'm turning it over to Rosarina.
Thank you, Melissa. Bienvenidos a todos. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We're going to ask the same question again, but please listen carefully. You have 30 seconds to answer.
They're like, please answer the goddamn question. I'll say it in Spanish if you want to, but answer the goddamn question.
What is your one big idea to make the city more affordable now, and how will you pay for it? Again, 30 seconds.
Pay for it. Yeah, pay for that damn thing.
Thank you for having me. Now may take a couple of years, but
now may take a couple of years. That's what you just said. So you just said, I'm not answering this question either. We're not answering the question.
I think we need to address the housing crisis. Most of the people on this stage have called to freeze the rent, but I want to go one better. I think we need to drop rents by 20%.
Damn. Okay. You know what? I like that. This guy just said, we're just going to drop the rents by 20%. How? Executive order. Just done. Your rent was $4,000, $3,200. Done. Why? Because I said so. Oh, you landlords can't afford that? Psh, oh, well.
By unleashing the private sector to build a lot more housing. This isn't pie in the sky. New York did this 100 years ago. Austin has done it just in the past 3 years.
That's because Texas allows you to build. Texas is landlord friendly. I went through this already. If you are business friendly, you will have more businesses. I know it's going to be crazy if you guys understand this. Crazy, insane. You don't get it. I know you don't. It's fine. But if you're landlord friendly, you'll have more landlords.
So the key is to ease the zoning restrictions and all the other regulations that are tying
Thank you, Mr.
private sector.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mamdani.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me.
Look at this smile. He is so happy to be there. This guy, I got to give him, again, I want to be very clear. I do not support his ideas. All I'm saying is the guy's got some charisma, right? He's got some charisma.
We are live here in the most expensive city in the United States of America.
True.
1 in 4 New Yorkers are living in poverty. And I am running to be your next mayor to make this city affordable. I will do so by freezing the rent for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants.
Plan. Just said I'm freezing the rent. No way of doing it, but I'm doing it. Freezing the, that's a plan. And you might say to yourself, Larry, that's a terrible plan. That is going to wreck us. It is. You're correct. But again, plan.
By making the slowest buses in the country fast and free. And
I'm going to speed up the buses and make them free. Free busing. That's a plan too. I can pay for that. I don't know. But buses are free. Why? I said so. There we go. So I'm going to freeze all the rent because I can. And I'm making the buses free. There we go. Done and done.
By delivering universal child care.
Damn, universal child care too. I'm taking your kids. The government's taking your kids. Got that covered. I'm freezing all the rents because I say so. And I'm making the buses free. Done. Now, obviously, if you know anything about economics, this is all a disaster. Doesn't matter though. And I want you watching, I want you listening to understand that whether this works or not, it doesn't matter. Why does it not matter? Because those people, those moderators, 2 of them, had to ask this question multiple times in multiple languages to try to get someone to say, do you have a plan for the city? And he just went, I'm experienced. When people have the choice between no plan and a terrible plan, they will take a terrible plan. I've been saying this for years. And too many people don't get it. Well, it's got to logically work. It's got to exist. It's got to exist. His plan exists. His terrible plan
I will
exists.
pay for this by taxing the 1%.
That's
the billionaires and the
He's the only guy who's going to pay for it. He's going to tax the 1%. Because you know what? Taxing the 1% has worked every single time with the exception of always. It's worked every single time except for always. It's worked always except for always. It literally never works ever. Taxing the rich hasn't worked. And if you think I'm making this up, Cuomo tried that. He did. Back in, was it 2018, 2019, that area? Cuomo said, oh, we're going to tax transactions on the financial center. True story. Do your Google homework because if you think I'm making it up. So that's how he's going to tax the rich because he couldn't tax the actual rich. When he tried taxing them, they literally said, I'm packing up and leaving. And they've been leaving since he left. They've been leaving. New York State loses about $20 billion, with a B, $1 billion due to migration, people leaving. And that's the IRS saying that, not me, IRS. Again, do your homework if you care. That's 100% true. So they're leaving. They just leave. They go to Texas. They go to Florida. They just leave. Right? That's number one. Number 2, when Cuomo decided, okay, I'm not going to tax you directly. I'm going to tax transactions, right? New York City financial hub, every transaction, New York State, take a small cut. And they said, what? You're taking a small cut of us? And you know what they said? They said, you know what? New York Stock Exchange said, we're going to move to Miami. Well, yeah. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're going to move to Austin. Sorry, my mistake. We're going to move to Austin. He said, what? Yeah. New York Stock Exchange is going to be in Texas. Then Goldman Sachs said, we're not going to be in New York anymore. We're going to move to Miami. Goldman Sachs moved to Miami. New York Stock Exchange moved to Texas. And Cuomo said, I'm just kidding. I got jokes. I'm kidding. I would never tax that. I'm kidding. Mamdani believes he can do this. That's the funny part. Mamdani is not lying. I want to be clear. He's not lying. He believes he can do this. And if you watch the whole thing, you don't have to. It's punishment. He actually says that. He's like, no, it can be done. I know how. He believes he can do this. He's utterly wrong. But he's the only guy on this stage who actually answered the question. Here's my plan. Here's how I pay for it. That's why this guy can do well. This guy can do well because he actually has a plan and a way to pay for it. That's the reason.
Profitable corporations that Mr. Cuomo cares more about than working class New Yorkers, I will ask them to pay their fair share so we can have a city that everyone can afford.
Thank you so much.
It's a fair share, you guys. That's all it is.
So much for that, Mr. Blake.
Can I jump in for one moment? Mr. Mamdani, how will you convince Albany to pass that tax increase? Because
now that was she knows. This woman knows. They've been talking that trash for decades. It never works because the rich say, I'll just leave. And then they just started leaving.
From what we've heard from Governor Hochul, it's not really something that she's thinking about.
Hochul won't do it.
How can you guarantee that will happen?
Cuomo didn't do it. He tried it a little sleek way. They smacked him when he tried that. And now Hochul won't do it. But Mamdani's like, well, I'm the mayor. I could just do that because I got magic powers.
So I have experience in this, actually, because in my first year in the state legislature, I came to Albany where we had a governor then who didn't want to raise taxes on billionaires and corporations. That was then Governor Cuomo. And
do you see? He honestly believes this. He does. He's not making this up. He believes this. He does.
He actually overcame his objections, raised $4 billion in new annual revenue, and finally funded the very public schools that he had starved for so many years.
Thank you very much. We have to go with Mr. Blake now.
He starved public schools at only $30,000 a year. Starving. These schools are starving. $30,000 a year, the highest in the starving schools. He's right. Mamdani is starving. Gotta give him some money. He's starving.
As a South Bronx native family of Jamaican immigrants, the way we actually address affordability is by ending credit scores and increasing income limits for housing applications.
See that? Just make sure the people who want to get housing and stuff don't worry about the credit at all. Don't worry. No credit scores, no nothing. So that if you get in there, what could go wrong if you start giving people assets with no credit checks? What could go wrong? You start giving people liabilities with no credit checks. What could go wrong? Oh, wait, 2008. Oh, right, 2009. Right. That could go wrong. And this guy's like, that's the answer. Just give people more free stuff. There we go.
And having universal childcare that is happening not just after school, but throughout the weekends.
Damn, he wants your kids on the weekends. For those of you watching who don't know how New York City works, do you understand why I stay here and fight? Is this obvious? Is it obvious? Don't worry about it. We'll take your kids in the week, at night, weekend. New York City is basically New York City is your nanny. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And the rich people will pay to take care of your kids because magic powers.
We pay for this by having a vacant apartment tax for those that are not living in New York City.
A vacant apartment tax. Okay. So what that means is if you have a pied-à-terre or you have an apartment here and you don't live in New York City, we're going to double tax you because you don't live here. Because that'll work. But hey, that's a plan. I'll give him that. These guys got a plan. I'll give him that.
By withholding taxes to D.C. that Trump tried to take against us and making sure, as much as I love the Knicks, and I'm sorry they fired Tibbs, but they had to, you have to tax what's happening at Madison Square Garden. That is.
He's actually not wrong on that one. That was MSG should not get special taxation. That's, for those of you who know, Madison Square Garden gets a very special tax rate, 0. So that part's true. I'll give him that. Madison Square Garden should not get anything separate than anybody else. Lower everybody's taxes then. That part, he's correct. That part, he's correct.
That's how you pay for it. That is how we have affordability.
Thank you, Mr. Blake. Mr. Stringer.
I want to actually put forth a program that can get done for young families and for the people who built this city. And it's very simple. We need to use city-owned vacant land, 1,000 properties, and transform that land into affordable housing.
See, we're going to have the city build because the city always builds well. So, look, why did I show that to you? Because I wanted you to see why Mamdani can do well. He can do well because he actually has a plan. He actually has some charisma. That's why he can do well. That's the entire piece. That's why I wanted to bring this up. I then want to talk about, if I can, what also has happened, which is, if I can grab this here, this is what happened with AOC. AOC has decided that she's now back in Mamdani. Now, that is a big deal. That is a big deal, right? And people are like, that's it. It's the thing. Now it's over because she's come in and said the thing. No.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has now endorsed Zohran Mamdani, #1 on her ranked choice ballot. This comes after last night's New York City mayoral debate. This and endorsement by Bernie Sanders have been much watched. There have been a lot of pressure on AOC to get off the sidelines and get in and endorse Zohran as he has been surging and closing to within about 8 points of Andrew Cuomo in the latest race. Last night, there probably were not an enormous number of people watching this debate, so we can overstate its impact. But boy, was it fascinating, and it is the entire conversation becomes just much more interesting when you have a social democratic voice in their debating.
they both love this because the Breaking Points without Sagar is basically CNN. It just is. I mean, yeah, this show is lefty and lefty together. So it's basically it's MSNBC light. Like, yeah, now that the socialists are in, now we're good. Now we're good. Yes.
Pushes everybody else to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this good thing. I'm going to do this good thing. I'll do this amazing thing as well. So let's start with Cuomo getting piled on. Should we do that first?
Yeah.
They piled on
yeah,
Cuomo,
because Cuomo as the front runner is just naturally going to get piled on.
Well, and there's plenty of ammunition to work with too.
Right, and also he's Cuomo, so you're going to pile on him anyway.
Yep.
So he's facing an investigation by Trump's DOJ, which on the one hand is a boon because it rallies Democrats in New York.
That does, and that's what Cuomo's doing well too, right? Cuomo is saying, I'm the guy that Trump is actually after, right? Trump doesn't want me. That's one of his skill sets. He has created this thing where he is gonna fight Trump, which Democrats in this city love. They eat that up. They love it, right? And he teases Mamdani as Mamdani is going to get his butt kicked by Trump, but I'm the guy who could fight. Kathy Hochul tried that. If you remember, she started that. Then she got her butt smacked. Trump beat her badly, and took away her night, right? Took away Lisa James, put Stefanik back in, so she had no cards. And Hochul shut up. She's like, I got my butt kicked. I'm done. In comes Cuomo. I'm going to save the day. I'm going to fight Trump. I got him. And you might laugh at that. But Democrats in New York City, they want a fighter. I've been telling you this forever. And if they believe that Cuomo will go up there and take out Trump, if they believe that, he's not going to. But that doesn't matter. Again, reality here, and I know a lot of you get mad at me. You say things like, well, Larry, it doesn't make sense. This is not true. It's not logical, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. Politics is not logical. Politics is emotional. It just is. You can be mad at it all you want. It's emotional. It just is. And when Democrats want someone to beat up on Cuomo, beat up on Trump somehow, if Cuomo says it hard enough and they believe it, they'll vote for him. That's why he's winning in the polls. They'll vote for him. That's how it works. So yes, I just want to make sure we're clear on that.
Behind him, because if you're against Trump, then you're objectively a good thing.
Yes, he just said it. If you're against Trump, you are by default good. See, I'm a beat up Trump, so I'm good.
A lot of Democratic voters. On the other hand, he did lie to Congress and he did cover up a bunch of deaths. This was a needle to thread for his opponents. Let's roll F1 here.
The question is whether or not it's political and whether or not.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't do something. I didn't give you an actual answer, and I should have. I apologize. If I'm running for mayor and they ask me that question, here's what I tell them. A 6-month tax holiday in New York City. That's how you immediately fix the city and give them a boost. A 6-month tax holiday. And you fight the governor to make sure the governor also is to make it state, not just city. You, as the mayor, say city tax, 6-month tax holiday. You then tell the governor, copy that here and make it state. Tax holiday for 6 months. What will that do? That gets people to rush into the city to buy. Why? No tax for 6 months. What else will happen? Every other city in New York State will be pissed off. Like Rochester will be like, why don't I have that in Rochester? Why don't I have that in Buffalo? Why don't we all start doing tax holidays here and there and here and there? Why are people rushing to Texas and rushing to Florida? Lower taxes. Tax holiday, 6 months. If they fight you, 3 months. Fine. Let the governor fight me. I'll go 6. The governor fights me. I get 3. A 3-month tax holiday. You do that, people rush in. Another reason why, right now, people are coming back to New York City right now. People don't know this. They don't mention that because they don't know. But people are coming back to New York City. Why? Because all the financial people said, I'm tired of you guys scamming at home. You need to come into the office now because we're dropping $1 gazillion on office space and we're stuck in these 10, 20-year leases we can't get out of. I can't get out of these leases. Your happy ass is coming back into it, or you're not going to get your $3 million a year, $500,000 a year, $750,000 a year. Now, if you're making $3 million a year and you have to lose your job with AI on your ass, and I tell you come into the office, you come into the office. You're not giving up your $3 million a year where AI might replace you. You don't have any job. You will come back to the office. And that's happening. That's why rent's going to start going up in New York because the finance people are coming back. Well, how do we get regular people coming back? That's my point. 3-month tax is gone. You watch people flow into the city. Once people start flowing to the city, what starts to happen? The people who service them have to now start small businesses. That's how you do it. See, Mike remembers. I recall that tax holiday was done like in 2019, if I recall, worked well. Yes, but I'm saying 3 months. You're right, Mike. That's work. But they can't say that. Why? Because Democrats. We can't and start taxes. That's impossible. The world would end. No, the reverse would happen. So I actually have an answer right then and there. How do I pay for it? The businesses will immediately come back. What is suffering in New York City is the service industry in New York City is suffering because the people aren't here. As the people come back and businesses come back, now the service industry explodes. That's more jobs. That's more taxation. Life is good. That's how it works. Mike, you get it. That's what's supposed to happen. There we go. So anyway, Andrew goes, the upstate cities are surely going to be pissed. Some might say, okay. Correct. That's the point. So there was an answer. I'm sorry. I want to make sure there was an answer. Let me keep going now.
Your congressional testimony was truthful. Were you, now that you've had time to reflect, involved in producing that report that undercounted those nursing home deaths?
Breakfast foods.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did that happen? I sometimes put the wrong freaking thing. I apologize. Sometimes I forget which one I have on. As I tell you, I have multiple accounts. So I sometimes have the wrong account on, and not all of them don't have, clearly. All right, let me ask it. Not all of them don't have ads. This one, that one does have ads. So I had to pop that up real fast. Let me fix that. And we should be back in action. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Let me get this going.
1,000 people died, and he still won't answer your question.
All right, here's a chance to answer the question as Melissa presented it.
Yes.
Mr. Cuomo.
No, I told Congress the truth. No, we did not undercount any deaths.
He dodged. Here is where this guy failed horribly. And this is the reason why he failed, because he can't take responsibility. The appropriate answer to that question is, are you involved? The appropriate response is very simple. Did I physically write the report? No, I was the governor of New York. Of course not. Do I take full responsibility for that report? Yes, I do. I was the governor of New York at that time, and a report came out of my office. What you really want to know is, do I take responsibility? I do. Do you think I wrote it? What are you guys, stupid? I would actually say that. What are you guys, stupid? You think the governor wrote the report? Stop it. That's dumb. Of course I didn't write the report. But the issue is, am I responsible for it? Yes. And it was truthful, and it was real, and there were no lies. Now, that's not true. But that's what I would say if I was Cuomo, who doesn't care about the truth. I would just say it like that. And what would happen? They all shut up. He can't do that. And he should. So, yes. I'm sorry. Ryan, thank you for the $5, my friend. I'm sorry I missed your super chat. He says, Larry, where's the rent's too damn high guy or party? Yes. Jimmy McMillan, the man himself. The rent's too damn high. Yes. And look, the funny thing about the rent's too damn high guy is rents are too damn high. That's true. So how do you fix that? Right? That would be the actual answer. How do you fix that? You do the tax holiday, number one, get people back in. But number two, you get rid of a couple things in New York City. Overnight, you just get rid of, by executive order, you get rid of the idea of people basically saving their neighborhoods with that YOLO stuff. You end that. You say you can't landmark property anymore. That would drive people crazy because New York is an old city. No more landmarking. Get rid of that shit immediately. Landmarking destroys neighborhoods. People say it makes them better. It doesn't. It just makes rent higher. Yep. And follow a very simple rule. If you want to build something in New York City, whatever that thing is, every single agency that has to deal with you building, whether it's environmental, whether it's whatever, they have 30 days to tell you no. If they don't tell you no with a reason within 30 days, you get to build, period. That's it. They have to tell you no. Well, Larry, they can't stop all these things. Then I guess we're building then, aren't we? Now you're building, and the rent won't be too damn high. Last piece, landmarking, 30 days, last piece, which is the most important piece. You have to end all, and I mean all, rent control has to go away. Argentina has taught us that works. Within 1 year, rents went down 30%. You end it all. You end it. Now, if you want to phase it 3 months, whatever, I would bend to a phase out. I would, but it's all gone. No rent control. None. Gone. Rent controls were the dumbest things New York City's ever done and will not get rid of. Gone. No rent control. Those 3 things, you'll see things change. So I want to make sure I did answer that question. I know I was so busy yelling at them, I didn't actually answer the question. Although if you like what I'm saying and the answers I'm giving you, which are all good answers, clearly, because I know what I'm talking about, and I'm modest too. Click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Yes, click that button now, the L-I-K-E. Click it. It does matter. Please do so. And if you don't, you can also click the share or repost. You can also repost this or share it. If you don't share this, if you don't repost it, you think Cuomo's a good guy. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Did you repost it? You didn't. You think he's a good guy. That's how it works. You think Cuomo's a good guy if you don't share this or repost this. That's how it works. I don't make the rules. Actually, I do make the rules. I make the rules, and that's the rule. That's it. Sorry, guys. So share it or repost it, or you think Cuomo's a good guy. That's just who it is. That's who it is. If you want your chat to go to the front, you can just super chat me if you want to, or you can rant me on Rumble. Either one, always good. If you like what I'm doing, you want me to not be at 7:15 and to be at 7 instead, you can do that by helping me by becoming a member. $49 per month. Click that button on YouTube. Become a member. More membership means less time me working, more time me doing this. Absolutely. Or on Rumble if you want to, $49 per month. Click that, subscribe during the live only. We can make that happen. So, guys, thank you so much. But no matter what, click the button known as like. So, yeah.
When they are all counted, we're number 38 out of 50, which I think shows that compared to what other states went through.
See, he's worried about being too strong because he can be a jerk. He can be. I mean, he can be a jerk, but he shouldn't be. He should be stronger. Mamdani has charisma. The rest of these chumps have no chance. The rest of these chumps, and I'll say to them, they're all chumps. They have no chance. He will decimate all of them. The only one who has a chance is Mamdani because he has some personality, has some charisma, and a plan. Cuomo has to be hard on him. He's got to be like, child, stop. Son, stop. He's got to be like that. Why? Democrats love that shit. They do. And it's a Democratic primary. Remember, this is a Democratic primary. This is not a general election. General elections don't matter in New York City. I'm not joking. General elections are relevant. What matters is a primary. This is a primary. You're talking to Democratic voters. They love that.
We had it first and worst, and that only 12 states had a lower rate of death. We should really be thanking the women and men who worked in those nursing homes and did an extraordinary
very
job.
quick yes or no follow-up, if I may. Just the question is, were you involved in the producing of that report? It's just a yes or no question.
I was very aware of the report.
That's the problem. He's dodging. Why? He's a lawyer. He's a lawyer. That's his lawyerness coming in. That's his attorney general, his lawyer shit coming in. Just come out and say, of course I didn't write it. Of course not. I was the governor. What he should be saying is, oh, but I'm responsible for it. Of course I am. And say it was right. It was perfect. It was correct. I mean, that's not true. But he doesn't care about the truth, right? If it's him, he don't care about the truth. So he'll just lie. He doesn't care. So yes. Robert says, I don't think you're explaining how landmarking rental properties is abused. What happens for you guys who know how landmarking works in New York City is because New York City is a very old city. I mean, it started in the 1600s. They did something which was supposed to be good. And I get the concept completely. And that is, don't let the city be destroyed so you can landmark certain things that are critically important, historical. Like you don't want to tear down where Alexander Hamilton is buried. Yes, I get that, right? That kind of stuff I get completely. But they decided, well, this looks nice, so I'm landmarking it. And you might say to yourself, well, why would I want to landmark something? What landmarking means is once this building is landmarked, the community, I'm not joking, decides whether you can do anything to your property. Now, you can voluntarily landmark your property if you want to, right? Now, I hate that idea, but you can because you live in a house you never want to get rid of. You never want to change anything, so you never have to upgrade it. So you just go, oh, my house was once visited by Mark Twain, so one day he stopped by, so it should be landmarked. And the community goes, yep, good idea, landmark it. Not just that, people, the community, can landmark your property. So you're like, so Robert's like, I got a property, I don't want to landmark it, I'm going to rebuild. The community goes, no, we're going to landmark your property. We all agree that Mark Twain stopped by your house once, and therefore it should be landmarked, you now can do no changes, do anything unless we tell you. Yeah. That's how it works. That should go away. Unless it's historically significant, like where Alexander Hamilton is buried. Okay, I got you. Wall Street. Okay, don't knock that down. Fine. But your house that you said Edgar Allan Poe looked at once? No. Sorry. That's done. That's how they stop you from building. The second piece they talk about in which this is another piece. I'm sorry, you guys are bringing it up. Nate brings up zoning laws. Also an issue. So if you, in New York City, if the building is 6 stories high or 4 stories high, more common, 4 stories high, and you knock it down, you can only build up a 4-story building. Why? Because. Well, what if I want to go 6 stories? No. Why? Because. Well, I have lots of money. Oh, then yes. Sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. Then yes. I'm sorry. Yeah. I have tons of money. Oh, tons. Then yes. I was kidding. Build what you want. That's how that works. That's why the vast majority of landlords in New York City, the majority own at least 20 properties and 1,000 units. I wish I was joking. It's true. So if you're huge, I'm gonna do it. Why? Because here's money, Nate. Take the money, and who cares about zoning laws? Those don't matter. Whatever. Yeah. But if I'm a regular guy trying to grow, I'm a small landlord trying to make something happen. My family bought a building and I'm trying to grow it. No. Go under, chump. And when you go under, the big guy buys your building, then writes a check, and then changes zoning laws for his area. Why? Because money. Yes. That's it. Anyway. You guys asked the question. I want to cover those pieces. If
I spoke to it at press conferences.
No, before it was released, Mr. Cuomo. The question is about the production of the report.
Okay. All right,
okay. We're going to move on. We're not getting an answer. We're not going to
stand by the report.
No, it was just whether or not you were.
So to refresh people's memory, Cuomo.
Yeah, that part I think is funny. But they go on and talk about, like, is it a big deal for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to endorse? Is it a big deal? Yes. Is it a massive deal? No, it isn't. Why is it a big deal? It's a big deal for a different reason you might think. You might think, well, if she endorses, now Mamdani will win. No, that isn't why it's a big deal. It's a big deal because it shows AOC going against the establishment. And if you've been watching her, and some of you have, some of you haven't, she started like she was going to be the anti-establishment candidate. She was going to be the anti-establishment. That's going to be her, AOC. That lasted, what, a year, 2, maybe, if that. And then all of a sudden she was like, Nancy Pelosi, what can I do for you now? She became that person. And she's like, I'm going to join the establishment. And then the establishment said, okay, I'm glad you joined the establishment, but you're young. Get away. We're the leaders. We do what we want. Have a nice day, kid. Did that to her. And then she went, oh, well, I've been screwed. Correct. I'm in trouble now. Correct. Well, I'm going to be a rebel again. I'm going to get Bernie on my side. And that's what she's doing now. So that's why that's a big deal. It's not because Mamdani's all of a sudden going to win. That's not the reason. It's because it shows that she is now officially saying, I'm anti-democratic establishment now. That's what that does. Because Cuomo is establishment. It's not even close. He's utterly establishment. And that's showing that she's not. That's why it's a big deal. Will it get her a little bit of a boost? I think so. Because remember what they mentioned, it's ranked choice voting. I'm going to cover ranked choice voting in a minute, too. Before I do that, I'm looking over at Rumble. Peace Logic says, can the governor of New York fire the mayor or other high-level positions? Yes. The governor can do so, but it has to be in something extreme. I think it was done like 100 years ago or something. It can be done, but it's really extreme. It's not a thing that people have to do, and they don't do it. But it can be done, yes. So in theory, could Kathy Hochul fire Cuomo? She could. She could have fired Eric Adams. She could. It's just not realistic, and the odds of her doing it are slim. So I hope that makes sense at least. So, all righty. Let me see if I can grab those. I grab those. Good. All righty. So let me now, if I could, I'm going to move to, let's see if I can grab to this one. This is ICE, handling ICE. And you might think that's a big deal. I'm not a big deal, but it's a big deal in New York. It's a big deal. This is handling ICE. I'll just pop it real fast. You see a couple of these real fast. This is handling ICE.
For my viewers in Telemundo 47, we're going to talk about immigration, okay?
Immigration, baby.
As we know, President Trump wants to abolish sanctuary cities like New York, and his administration has applied pressure to force cooperation on deportation. So to understand a little bit more this issue, we're going to give you a couple of scenarios, hypothetical scenarios. You're going to have a minute to answer this one. Mr. Cuomo, we are going to begin with you. Let's say ICE notifies your city-run hospitals that they must stop offering medical care to undocumented patients, or the federal government is going to withhold millions of dollars in funding. What do you do?
I've gone through this with Mr. Trump before with ICE.
But what would you do now?
You cannot give in to Mr. Trump and his demands. You can.
This, and you might think that that's bad or Americans are pro-Trump, blah, blah. For America, this is a bad answer. For New York City, this is a great answer. Now, I know somebody like, what? Yes. For him to say this to America as a whole, bad answer. Americans want something done about immigration. They absolutely do. New York City Democrats, it's fine. I wanted you to see this, that he's openly saying it. This is New York City. This is a fine answer, New York City.
But let's say he's cutting funding.
You can't. It will never end. If you give in to him, he is a bully. I know him well. If you give in to him today, you will be giving him your lunch money for the rest of your life.
So what's the solution?
And this is what New York City people want to hear. They just do. And I know you're saying this, but Larry, Trump won the election last year. And one of the biggest issues he talked about was immigration. True. That's true. Yes. And again, if Cuomo was right now running in a general election for president, I guarantee you he would never say that. Never say that. Never would he say that if he was running. And when he runs for president, he will change. He'll be like, well, the border, that he will change his tune 100%. They're going to bring this up. He'll be like, well, that was because Trump. He'll make some excuse. He will absolutely change his mind on that 100%. But for New York City, remember, I keep saying this. This is a New York City Democratic primary. Totally fine answer in that scenario.
You have to fight him. And the way you fight him is not by suing him. Yes, of course you sue him, but he gets sued 10 times before he gets out of bed in the morning, right?
Kind of like you.
That doesn't
and the
bother
lawsuits
him,
are winning,
right?
by the way.
We need a national coalition, which we can put together, of like-minded states and cities that will oppose these actions. And then we're going to have to eventually beat him politically in the Congress, but you cannot give in to his demands.
And that's all I want you to see. That's what they want to see. That's what Democrats want to hear. And you might say to yourself, but Larry, this doesn't make sense. I know. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's not a bad answer. Like New Yorkers are like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. All right, I want to grab the idea of ranked choice voting. And some of you like it, some of you don't. Let me be very clear. Those of you who don't like ranked choice voting, you are wrong. Straight up, sorry, you're wrong. Ranked choice voting is awesome because it's better than what we have now. Not because it's the best. It is not necessarily the best way, but our current system sucks. And I'm going to show you a little bit about it, and I'm going to show you some propaganda also. Propaganda is almost always done by the right. The right hates ranked choice voting. Why? Because they lose constantly. Why? The left is much more of a coalition, party, coalition groups. They often have coalitions against Republicans. Republicans rarely have coalitions. They fail. As you can see, Elon Musk and Trump. Republicans are more consensus. I'm the leader. Get behind me. I'm the leader. The left, not Democrats, the left. The left is much more coalitions. So that's what the difference. That's why often you'll find 4 or 5 different coalitions within the left start to come together to fight Trump. That's the example, right? That's what it is often. So when it comes to ranked choice voting, it's much easier to create a coalition against someone that you want to get rid of. There's a thing right now called D.R.E.A.M. D.R.E.A.M in New York is don't rank Andrew or Eric for mayor. D.R.E.A.M. D.R.E.A.M. Don't rank them. Leave them out. Let me explain ranked choice voting with a video, and then I'm going to go through the actual propaganda against it. Some of you Republicans will be mad at me when when I give you the propaganda that's absolute utter garbage. But I'll explain to you in a second. This is a positive one, but then I will do the negative one too. I'll do both. This is ranked choice voting from people who think it's a good idea, because it is. Let me go ahead.
So what is ranked choice voting?
Yep.
In most parts of the United States, voters select a single candidate for each position on their ballot.
And that's how you do it. So what does that mean? That means someone can win with less than 50% of the vote, right? As long as you have the most, you win. It also means something else. Why in the world would I ever vote for a Green, a Libertarian, or an Independent Party? Why? Because lesser of two evils.
And the candidate with the most votes wins. This is known as single choice winner-take-all, which can sometimes result in the election of a candidate who earned only a small percentage of the vote.
Yes, most people didn't want that person. Why do Republicans hate it? Because more than once Republicans have been booted out because they have aggressively people who people don't like.
Even when the majority of voters supported other candidates.
Yep.
But that's not the only way of electing our leaders.
True.
Ranked choice voting is another voting method which allows voters to rank their candidates in order of preference.
Correct.
In a ranked choice voting election, a candidate needs to earn more than half of the votes to win.
Yes, you have to vote. And of course, Mike shows up. Ranked choice is the best way to get the worst choice possible. 100% false. Not even close to true. Dems love it as it gives them more options to have one of their parties, yes, many in the ballot. Republicans could do it too. Not their culture, though. Republicans do it too. Why couldn't Republicans do it? Of course they could. They could. They could. If they would align with the Constitution Party, the Conservative Party, even the Libertarian Party, but they won't. That's the problem. The Democrats do it sometimes. That's what you'll see. Watch and see how it works right now.
All first choices are counted, and if a candidate has a majority, then they win.
So that would mean majority would mean the person that most people want would win. So if you have a candidate that most people want, they just win. That's it. They win. Life is good. But if your candidate can't get over 50% in the first round, other people have a chance. There's no splitting the vote. It doesn't exist anymore.
Just like any other election. If not, the candidate with the fewest votes is eliminated, and voters who picked that candidate as number one will have their votes count for their next.
There we go. So if the one person doesn't win, the people, I'll give you a perfect example of this. You happen to like libertarians, as you should. You like them. But you realize, where I live, libertarians probably aren't going to win. They probably aren't. But I want to make sure I want them to win. So I'm going to vote for Libertarian first, and I'm going to rank whoever else next, right? So I have offensive and defensive voting. Let's say you lean left and you're scared of Republican, or you lean right and you're scared of Democrat. Great. You vote for Libertarian first, and then if you hate Republicans, Democrat next. So if the Libertarian doesn't win, your vote goes to the Democrat. That keeps the good person winning, Mike, the person you want. Now, if you hate Democrats, no worries. Libertarian first, Republican second. Democrats third. That keeps the good person winning, Mike. See, whoever you want. The bad person doesn't win because the bad person doesn't get ranked or gets ranked last or doesn't get ranked at all. That's why the dream works. Don't rank Eric or Andrew for mayor. So you don't rank them. You rank everybody but them. It creates a coalition against Andrew Cuomo, a coalition against Eric Adams. Exactly what you said, Mike. The opposite is what happens. I'm going to explain why this propaganda in a second. I'm going to do some from the Heritage Foundation, which gives utter propaganda for this stuff.
Choice. This process continues until a candidate earns a majority and is declared the winner.
So in this situation, the first person who got that amount, right, wasn't the most popular. Most people didn't want that person to win. They had the highest first round, but they had people who they didn't like who would not have them. And this person wins. So the person who most people wanted to win wins. That is a better system. Am I saying perfect? No, but is a better system. You just rank them. I like this guy, that guy, this guy, in that order. It's that simple. Isn't that tough to do? And it allows you offensive and defensive
Let's look at
voting.
an example. Here, you select orange as your first choice candidate, yellow as your second, pink as your third, and green as your final choice.
Now, I will ask you, is this confusing for you? It's a serious question. Is this confusing? Are you like, I don't know how to handle this. I don't get it. I asked that question importantly. Somehow I think you can figure this out. And you might go, but Larry, I don't like the green guy at all. Don't rank him. Just rank orange, yellow, and pink. Don't rank the green guy. You don't want him at all. So you're only voting for someone who you would be okay being in that seat. That's it. If you're like, I don't want the green guy in, I want orange, yellow, or pink, I'll accept those three. I want orange. That's my number one. I'll take yellow. I'll take pink. I do not want green. Don't vote. Don't do green. Put in 3. That's all you're done. It's done. That's easy. You could just do it that way.
The first choices are counted. Yellow earned 35%, orange 21%, pink earned 28%, and green earned 16% of the vote.
Now, with this, how this works, what happens? Yellow wins, and orange says, you stole my votes, green. You're the reason. You were a spoiler. You third parties suck. Let's just go left and right, and let's keep a left-right paradigm forever and make sure nothing ever gets fixed. That's what our current system does. Well, ranked choice voting, that does not happen. That does not happen.
Because nobody won more than 50%, the candidate with the fewest votes is eliminated, and voters who picked him as their first choice have their ballots count.
Yes, so the people who voted for green, right? They now say, okay, what was your second choice? You can't get green. What was your second choice? Oh, well, I don't mind. I wanted green, but it's okay. I'm okay with having yellow. Okay, so that goes to that one. That's fine. You still get someone that you selected. You still get someone that you selected. You are better represented than just having to hit one person.
For their second choice. This continues until a candidate receives more than half of the votes, or 50% plus 1. So what are some of the benefits of ranked choice voting?
There are lots of
Ranked choice voting provides more choices, allowing more than 2 candidates to compete without fear of splitting the vote among like-minded individuals.
Done.
Sometimes voters feel pressured to vote for the lesser of 2 evils.
Yes, we can end the lesser of 2 evils bullshit that is wrecking our country. We can end it. Let's just yell at each other. Let's just call the other guy bad. Because what happens now, and you see it now, what happens now is in ranked choice voting, what happens is they stop being so negative except against the one guy everybody hates. So everyone attacked Cuomo, but that was it. The rest were like, you can vote for any of us. Join us together. Rank me as number 2. Keep us together. Make a slate. So now what does that mean? Third parties get to influence the major parties. They get to actually influence major parties. Major parties do what they want. It breaks the party system and hold over our system, which it needs to happen.
Ranked choice voting allows people to vote for their favorite candidate, not just against the candidates they dislike.
Thank you. Yes.
With ranked choice voting, we see more positive campaigns and less negative advertising.
It is you already see it in New York City. You see it already. Mamdani ran commercials for 2 or 3 other people. I'm not joking. He ran commercials for 2 or 3 other people. Yes. 100%. Mike goes, it is less. Dude, you're totally wrong. I know you don't. I'm going to play something that's going to show your stuff, but you're utterly wrong on this. It's completely incorrect. Yes. Kim says, ranked choice voting is correct for uneducated, lazy voters. Also true. Yes. Yes. Liberty says, and that's why we really know that the big red and blue don't want. That's correct. The more Republican or Democrat you are, the less you want ranked choice voting. Cuomo hates ranked choice voting. Anyone who's establishment. If you're establishment Republican, if you're establishment Democrat, you hate ranked choice voting. Guaranteed. Because it screws the establishment up, which is what I like, which is why it's good. That's the reason why they hate it. If it didn't do that, we'd have it everywhere. We'd have it everywhere. Of course. Why does New York City have it? Because they recognized that the general election doesn't matter in New York City. 6-1 Democrat to Republican. The election is the primary. So how do you stop the establishment from winning every primary? Ranked choice voting. They know that. That's why they did it. Literally, New York City is the example that proves what I'm talking about. This is the only, there is 0 chance of Cuomo losing without ranked choice voting. The establishment picks Cuomo, he wins. That's how it works. Ranked choice voting, he might lose. I don't think he will, but he might. There is a chance he'll lose because of a coalition against him. He could lose. That's because ranked choice voting, no other reason.
Candidates are encouraged to reach out to as many voters as possible, including those supporting their opponents.
Correct.
They can build a
And
winning
shit happening.
coalition with like-minded candidates to earn voters' second and third choices. It's time to fix our democracy and make our elections work.
Correct. Now, you might go, but Larry, does everyone do that? No, not at all. Hardcore establishment Republicans can't stand it specifically, and I'm going to give you one. This is, if I can find this, this is from the Heritage Foundation. Utter propaganda, but I'm going to show it to you anyway and explain why it's utter propaganda and total garbage. Heritage should be ashamed for putting this out. They should be ashamed. They're not, because they're establishment. They just want Republicans to always win, but they should be ashamed. They're literally lying on this. It is just propaganda. And I will explain it. I'm going to explain this propaganda.
I'm Hans von Spakovsky with the Heritage Foundation.
I'm Jason Sneed with the Honest Elections Project.
I'm Trent England with Save Our State.
And we have been working hard to guarantee that we have honest and fair elections.
See that? Honest and fair elections. All they care about. That's all they care about.
People want to radically change elections with a new, confusing process called ranked choice voting.
It's confusing. You guys can figure it out. You're all too goddamn stupid. Literally what Heritage just said. You all are too stupid to figure it out. Did any of you weren't you confused by checking 1, 2, and 3? You all too stupid. Heritage thinks you're too stupid. You're too dumb to do this. You guys are just idiots. That's the reason why. You can't do it.
Which should really be called rigged choice voting.
It's rigged. The current system isn't rigged. I want to smack these men. They would call the current system is not rigged. They were screaming. Republicans were screaming in 2020. It's all rigged. It's rigged. It's rigged. It's rigged. All of a sudden now Trump's president's not rigged anymore. So full of shit. So full of shit. These guys should be embarrassed. That's what's rigged. Stop it. Utter lie. Utter propaganda.
Disenfranchises voters and can lead to political activists trying to game the system.
They're gaming the system. Political activists, meaning political activists who don't like the actual establishment may be able to break the establishment. Their words, to game the system. You mean could actually work the system and affect the system?
To allow marginal candidates to win elections.
A marginal candidate might win an election. We can't have that. We're establishment. At least he's honest on that one. We can't have these marginal people. How can you have someone who hasn't picked by us, the elites, win an election? That's what he's saying. That's what this guy's saying. We can't get these marginal candidates. Can't have them. What if you like a marginal candidate? Psh, who are you, plebe? You're stupid. That's what he's saying. And they're happily saying this.
Instead of just voting for one candidate, their top choice in a race, voters are forced to rank all the candidates.
Hear what he said. That's a lie. Voters are forced to rank all the candidates. Literal lie. You don't have to vote them all. Like, you just vote one if you want to. It's called bullet voting. And that's how they broke ranked choice voting up in Maine by the two parties screaming to only bullet vote. To only bullet vote. And that's what broke it. You don't have to bullet vote either.
Candidates from their first choice to their last choice.
And look, number 95 choice. Like, there's 95 choices. This is a propaganda piece. Heritage putting out utter propaganda.
Then those preference votes are counted, and if no candidate wins more than 50% of the vote, officials begin rounds of elimination.
If no one gets 50% of the vote, isn't that a good thing? Don't we want 50%?
Candidates with the least support are eliminated, and the vote.
Why is that a bad thing? He's like, see these candidates. I thought you didn't want marginal candidates. I thought you didn't want them.
Voters who selected that candidate as their number one choice or top choice automatically have their votes changed to their second choice.
They get their votes changed. No, they still get their second choice. What if those people actually wanted that guy who's marginal? He would rather them not vote or have their vote be eliminated. That's fine. But give them a second choice? You plebes don't deserve that.
And another round of vote tabulation occurs. This process continues until one of the candidates ends up with a majority, but the winning candidate may be the second, third, fourth, or even last choice of most of the voters who initially cast.
And why is that a problem? Why is it a problem? That could happen. That I can remember, that's never happened. I don't remember that ever happening. Generally speaking, the guy who wins is the first, second, or third. That's almost always. Once in a while. It does happen once in a while. but there has to be a massive field full of tons and tons of people. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. It's not a thing. He's just making this up.
Ballots. In a recent local California school board election using ranked choice voting.
So he has to bring up a school board election. That's his evidence. One school board election.
That's exactly what happened. But because ranked choice voting is so complex, nobody caught them.
It's so complex. That's the problem. You people are stupid. These people are dumb. They're not smart like these heritage people. You people are dumb. So it's so complex. Counting to 3 is just far too much for these people. Could it be that the people just didn't know how to do it because it was the first time doing it? Could it be that? Or could it be the people were incentivized because they're party hacks to not do it right? Could it be that? No, it's not that, Larry. It's because people are dumb. That makes total Occam's razor. Occam's razor. It could be that they are incentivized for it to fail and were not trained because the parties want to fail. It could be that. Or they're just all idiots. Probably all idiots, right?
Mistake, and the wrong winner was certified and installed in office after multiple rounds of vote counting. It took an outside audit to finally uncover the truth.
What's wrong with outside audits?
And now the real winner has to sue to be recognized. That's just one problem with ranked choice voting.
Yeah, 1 out of 500,000 elections. That's 1. You're right. And only 1.
It also takes more time for voters to rank all of the candidates in a race and to fill out their ballots.
You got to go 1, 2, 3. It's 3 times the time. You're right. You got to go 1, 2, 3. He's not wrong.
That means longer lines at the polls. The ballots themselves are more.
Who cares if it's fair or not? We need it to be fast. Fair? Who cares if we actually have minor parties actually affecting the establishment and breaking it? Who cares if we fix our horrible 2-party system? It's going to take more time. I got time to do 1, 2, 3. Got stuff to do.
Complicated to fill out, creating more room for errors and mistakes that may get mail-in ballots thrown out.
Okay, that he made that up. I did my that he may so they might get thrown out. It's possible. Yes, lots of things could get a ballot thrown out. In fact, they get thrown out all the time now. Remember how you Republicans got mad at all the ballots that got thrown out? Remember that? Why you didn't want mail-in ballots? Remember that? I remember. All of a sudden, now it matters to you now?
It requires more complicated and expensive voting equipment and puts more strain on poll workers who have to manage a much more complicated election.
This is so complicated. I got to count 1, 2, 3. It's so complicated. You guys are just dumb. That's the problem. Feel like you've had $10, my friend. I want to show that advertising in the Sharpe way is worthwhile. Frontiers and Fortune is my blog on Substack. Today's article is about the history and economics of maple syrup. Sign up for free. There we go. Go sign up for free. It's the Frontiers and Fortunes blog on Substack. Go do that. There we go. Thank you, Phil. I appreciate that. Guys, if you want to get your stuff to the front, please pop that out if you would. Do a super chat if you want to. Goes right to the front. It does help tremendously. No matter what. If you like what I'm saying, click that like button. Click that like button. It does matter if you could. All right.
System.
There's evidence that it discourages people from voting in the first place.
There's evidence that discourages people. What evidence? You made that shit up. There's zero evidence of that. He made that up. It discourages people to vote. Stop. So you have more choices. I'm not going to vote now. Why? I got more choices. I don't want to vote now. What? So I can vote for the guy that I really want without being worried about splitting the vote? Yes. Now I'm not going to vote. Why would I vote now? Now I have offensive and defensive voting. Now I can make change. Now I can have impact. Who wants to vote now? He made that up. Utter lie. This is a literally lying.
And if voters don't rank all of the candidates in an election, their ballots run the risk of being thrown out and not counted in later rounds of vote tabulation.
Okay. Utter fucking lie. He says, if they don't rank them all, they'll get thrown out. I'm sorry. What he says, they risk them being thrown out and not counted. Yes, if you didn't vote for anybody. So if you vote for 2 and the 2 don't win, your ballot doesn't count. Guess what? In the regular voting, if you vote for a guy who didn't win the first round, your vote still isn't counted. There's no change. This is literally garbage. Utterly lying. Making shit up. The Heritage Foundation should take this down and make a formal apology to every third party on the fucking planet. This is embarrassing how bad they are. They're just saying, look, we want to make sure Republicans win no matter what. So who cares about democracy?
It took 8 rounds of vote tabulation in the New York City mayor's race in
8 rounds. The world's ending. Who cares?
2021 over 2 weeks before the winner was determined. But the votes of more than 140,000 voters were thrown out and not.
Listen, the votes of 140,000 voters was thrown out because they only ranked 2 of them that didn't win. What if you didn't vote for Eric Adams, it was somebody else? Well, then your vote got not counted anyway. It doesn't matter. So the issue is, the difference is your vote was counted and it lost versus your vote wasn't counted because you already because I'm getting triggered. I'm going to calm down because I'm getting triggered. This kind of bullshit propaganda is what is hurting our country. This bullshit propaganda is what's helping to wreck our nation. Why do we keep going back and forth, left, right, left, right, left, right, nothing gets solved? If you're a Republican, past 20 years, Republicans have controlled the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court, and presidency at one time and separately. Where's your immigration bill? Gone. I don't see it. Where was your repeal of Obamacare? Supposed to get that. Didn't get that. Where's your balanced budget amendment? I ain't get none of that. You're a Republican. You got none of it. You got nothing of what you wanted. What if you're a Democrat? Left. Okay, great. No worries. Got you. Where's your Medicare for all? Where's your codification of Roe v. Wade? You got nothing. You got nothing. If you're a Democrat or Republican, what you got is played again and again and again. Why? Because left, right. Because these guys here keep with this stupid propaganda and keep telling you that there's no other answer. You know why? Because they're right. If you don't change the voting system, there is no other answer. There is no other answer. I'm going to give you the most important aspect of this over anything, which they don't want to hear. The first round in ranked choice voting, win, lose, or draw, shows you how powerful any individual issue is. And I'll go back to Jimmy McMillan, the rent is too damn high. If he ran in ranked choice voting, he wouldn't win. No doubt he wouldn't win. To Mike's point of the bad guy wins. Utter horseshit, not true at all. 100% not true. But he wouldn't win. But he might have got 10, 15% in the first round. He gets 10 to 15% in the first round. What does he now have? Leverage to move whoever wins. He has 10 or 15% of the vote in now local elections all over the place. And they don't want that. How do I know? Because I have that for my run in 2018. If there's an election in New York State that, and most of them obviously are completely gerrymandered, so they win obviously. But when it's not obvious, when there's 1 or 2 percentage points, I very often get a call. Hey, Larry, can you help us out? Give us some ideas. Why? Because I'm a minor party in New York City, in New York State, and I can probably put about 2-3% of the vote in any given place across the state, depending where it is. Some places more, some places less, but I can pull a couple points here or there. So when it's close, they want me. I have leverage in specific cases. But what if I can pull 10 or 15% on round 1? Now they know I got 10, 15%. Now I matter in almost every race. Now I'm not winning, but now I can come in and say, change this policy, change that policy, and I'll back you. Change this policy and I'll move. RFK Jr. did that. The Trump campaign. Maha didn't exist until all of a sudden he started pulling on those poll numbers. Ranked choice voting shows that. It is critically important. The establishment hacks like these pieces of shit, these people, they don't want that. They want establishment to stay always. It is wrecking our nation. Nothing changes because these Republicans, Democrats keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, giving you nothing that you wanted. And he says, I got to tell you this, lying, and now people buying it. The New York Post did a hit piece on it. Shame on you, New York Post. Garbage you put out. Garbage you put out on that.
Not included in the final count because they hadn't ranked all of the candidates in that race.
Yes, because True. But again, remember, if it's, say, for example, as an example, you only like independent candidates, and that's a chunk of people across our country, whatever that percentage is, 3%, 5%, whatever that number is, right? So you might only rank Libertarian, Constitution, Green. That's all you rank. Well, if the Democrat Republican are so bad and it takes 3 or 4 rounds, the Libertarian, the Green, and the Constitution Party guys are all removed. So my ballot's ending. I wasn't going to vote for the Democrat Republican anyway. Nothing is lost. He is making this up. Nothing's lost. I wasn't going to vote for the left or right anyway. I'm not voting Democrat Republican. So I don't vote, or I vote ranked choice, or I write somebody in. Do I go, well, your vote is counted? What he's mad about is my Republican didn't win the first round. This is the next piece. If it takes 6, 7, or 8 rounds to win, your candidate sucks. Let me say it again. If it takes 6, 7, 8 rounds to win, your candidate sucks. It took Eric Adams 8 rounds because Eric Adams is a shitty candidate. That's why. And they don't like that because they don't want their Republican winning in 8 rounds because you picked a shitty Republican. You picked a shitty candidate and you mad at him so long and you were scared. The whole world knows you got a shitty candidate. Okay. I'm trying to be triggered, but this, boy, does it trigger me. Ryan, thank you for the $5. This stupid ass Heritage Foundation video should have come with a trigger warning. I'm cussing at the video like it's cool. I know it triggers. Every libertarian is triggered by this. Any Green Party triggered by it. Any third party person. If you're Democrat Republican, you're like, yeah, it's fine. But if you're a third party person, you're triggered because they're just shitting on you like you don't count. Where their system has failed us for literally years. For years, it's failed us. Sorry, keep going.
It's no wonder then that some places have tried ranked choice voting only to repeal it.
Oh,
Aspen, Colorado experimented with ranked choice voting in 2009, then voted overwhelmingly to get rid of it after only a single election. Voters in Alaska are organized.
Yeah, why did they get rid of the single election? Maybe because the 2 elites didn't like it? Yeah, not because it didn't work. He doesn't say it didn't work. They're getting rid of it. Why? He didn't say the voters are doing it. He said they're getting rid of it. Because the establishment said, this shit works. We can't have that.
Organizing a campaign to repeal ranked choice voting there.
Alaska, he says voters are organizing a campaign. They're not winning at all. Alaskans prefer ranked choice voting. So does Maine, so does New York City. But are some, yes, you know who the people are against that? The people who lost the election. Yes, Sarah Palin's people. Ranked choice voting kept Sarah Palin from winning. Yes, Murkowski won instead of Sarah Palin. Yeah, that's not a bad thing. Sarah Palin is whether you like her or not, she is absolutely a very aggressive candidate who makes people angry. So they didn't like her, so she didn't win. Exactly the opposite of Mike's point. The person most people didn't like didn't win. That's the point. That's how ranked choice voting works. John, thank you for 99, my friend. Thank you, guy. I guess is that because I got mad? I'm sorry. That was like, here, Larry, you're mad. Takes your money. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes. James says, Heritage Foundation for one-party dictatorship. True. Their party. Yes. One-party dictatorship. Who cares? There we go. Yes. Absolutely.
Which barely passed in a referendum election in the first place. And in Utah, where state lawmakers have allowed cities to experiment with ranked choice voting, many are expressing serious concerns.
Many are expressing serious concerns. What's that mean? Nothing. This is to make you think it's a problem. So some people are saying, I'm worried. Does that mean they don't like it? No. Are they stopping it? No. He's just going, many people are saying stuff. Well, yeah, I say stuff too. So what's that mean? Dave says, no RCB, write none of the above. Okay, let me be very clear about this, Dave. That actually doesn't work. And this is why RCB does work. If you write in none of the above in a regular election, your vote just isn't counted. That's how it actually works. In the current system, that's how it works. So now the Democrat Republican gets 25% because everybody hates him, but that's more than the other. That person wins. But here's the key, and thank you for bringing this up, Dave. In ranked choice voting, none of the above, also known as NOTA, N-O-T-A, none of the above, NOTA, if NOTA wins, nobody gets elected, you have to redo an election, and those people can no longer run. Mike, exactly the opposite of your point. If the parties put up people who are so shitty that the people say, I don't want any of these guys. They get removed. Nobody wins. They have to redo the election. And those people who ran are barred from running again. That's how ranked choice voting works. Because the people said none of them are good. So why does Harris like it? Because then their shitty candidates can't win automatically. The establishment doesn't want that. Could you imagine if Dave is correct and we could just say, oh, you guys suck? No, we don't want any of you. Just because your establishment put you up? No, none of them. And we keep going no till you put someone up we want. Oh my God, the people might have some power? We can't have that. We can't have that. Ranked choice voting is nothing but a good idea. Again, not perfect, but compared to currently, not even close. Such a good idea.
That ranked choice voting is a bad process that doesn't deliver on its promises and implements a confusing, chaotic voting system.
It's confusing and chaotic. Count 1, 2, 3. How stupid do they think you are? They think you're really stupid. They think you're really stupid. Yes, they do.
Voters want elections to be easier, more secure.
No, they don't. That's not a thing. He made that up. More secure, yes. But that doesn't matter whether it's ranked choice or not. Not easier.
And more transparent.
Ranked choice voting makes voting harder and is the wrong choice for our elections.
Ranked choice voting is a solution in search of a problem.
No, it isn't. The problem's here. It's called the current system. Okay, I showed that last. I knew I would get triggered. I know people say ranked choice is wrong. Ranked choice, if you think ranked choice is wrong, you're just wrong. Demonstrably. The shit these guys say is utter lies. I've debunked it. If you want to look it up, it's all true. None of the shit they said was true. It's all lies. They just made stuff up, and it's fear mongering. They don't want ranked choice voting because it allows the average American to actually have some power. It allows third parties to have some influence. Doesn't mean they're going to win. But would some of them win? Yes, some could have won. If we had ranked choice voting across the entire nation in 2016, across the entire nation in 2016, without question, nobody would have won the electoral college. It would have gone to the Congress. That's how much people hated Trump and hated Hillary. How do I know that? Gary Johnson would have won a couple states. He wouldn't have won an election. He won a couple states, and no one would have got 270. Think I'm making it up? You can do your homework. We already did math on this. That would have happened with ranked choice voting. That would have happened because statistically, Gary Johnson was everybody's second choice. I mean, not everybody, but I'm exaggerating. 90% of people's second choice was Gary Johnson in 2016. So if you didn't like Hillary, didn't like Trump, you would have voted Trump, Gary Johnson, Hillary, Gary Johnson. So in a couple of states, Gary Johnson would have actually won. I don't know, probably New Mexico, Utah, a couple he would have won. But he wouldn't have won enough to where no one would have got 270. What would that have told our country? How much power would the Libertarian Party have at that point? Now, again, we wouldn't have won the election. I'm not trying to say that. But would we have more power? Yes. Yes. 100%. We'd have more ability to move and change things. You'd have a Democratic Party that might actually care about civil liberties. I mean, it doesn't, but might because that they're supposed to. I mean, they don't, but they're supposed to. You'd have a Republican Party that cares about being physically conservative. I mean, it isn't, but it's supposed to. Supposed to care about, not being involved in foreign wars. I mean, they don't, but they're supposed to. Libertarians believe in all that stuff. We would move them to we would make them be better Democrats and better Republicans. That would happen with ranked choice voting. So, yes. Phil says, ranked choice voting builds a political bench. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. If we had ranked choice voting, we would have people like Thomas Massey running Libertarian. We'd have people like Justin Amash running Libertarian. Yes, absolutely. Ryan says, RCB makes voting harder. Yeah, right, it does. Of course it doesn't. Yes. Thank you for $2, my friend. Yes, of course it doesn't. That's the story they're telling you. All garbage. All right, I'm going to stop yelling about that. I know I yelled at it for a while. I did, and I probably shouldn't have, but I did. I want to grab this last piece if I could here. This is from Breaking Points. This is Mamdani fighting Cuomo. This is my last piece on this before I'm going to calm myself down. I'm going to get all pissy. I don't want to get all pissy. I don't. All right. I'm getting all pissy and I'm going to stop. All right. Here we go. Last piece.
Days and he doesn't know what he's doing, which is this sort of throwback argument, play to expertise, although maybe in a mayoral race it has more salience, I'm not sure.
It does.
But I thought Zohran had a really good way of flipping this on Cuomo in this debate. Let's go ahead and take a listen to that.
The difference between myself and Andrew Cuomo is that my campaign is not funded by the very billionaires who put Donald Trump in D.C. I don't have to pick up the phone from Bill Ackman or Ken Langone. I have to pick up the phone for the more than 20,000 New Yorkers who contributed an average donation of about $80 to break.
What's funny is my average donation was $85 when I ran 2018.
Fundraising records and put our campaign in second place.
Okay, Mr. Mamdani, thank you. Mr. Cuomo, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, please. Mr. Mamdani is very good on Twitter and with videos, but he actually produces nothing for him to accuse me of lying. He also called President Obama a liar and said President Obama was evil.
Now, that is brilliant of him to do. Why? A lot of people hate Obama. Not in New York City. No. Establishment Democrats in New York City love Obama. I know some of you want to vomit. I got to go back to this again and be sure you're clear on this. This is a New York City Democratic primary. The elites in New York love Obama. Still has not love it. They love him. They love Michelle. Yes. So for him to say, look, Mamdani's like, oh, that stings, because he knows that stings. However, to be forward, the younger Democrats who Mamdani's grabbing, they don't love Obama, but the older ones do. And Cuomo is killing it when it comes to older Democrats in New York City and Black and Hispanic. He's also winning in New York City. So he is winning the older rate, and those people love Obama. So for him to go, see, this young upstart, he hates Black Democratic Jesus. You can't have him do that. Oh my God. Yes.
Take everything with a grain of salt. Donald Trump would go through Mr. Mamdani like a hot knife through butter. He's been in government 27 minutes. He passed 3 bills. That's all he's done. He has no.
Now, again, for some of you like, who cares? One more time, New York City Democrats love experience. What Cuomo is doing well here, right? What he's doing well here is he's speaking right to his audience. His audience wants to hear this. His audience wants to hear exactly this. He's doing well here to his audience. Let me be very clear, to his
experience
audience.
with Washington, no experience in New York City. He would be Trump's delight.
All right, brief response, Mr. Mamdani, then we have to move on.
Look, it's true that I don't have experience with corrupt Trump billionaires who are funding my campaign. I don't have experience with party politics.
See, this is what Mamdani does well. He puts him back in Trump. He's making Cuomo Trump. And that's brilliant. Because remember, New York City Democrats hate Trump. So if you put him, Cuomo's saying, I'm going to fight Trump. I got him. I'm going to beat up Trump. Mamdani said, no, dude, you are Trump. This is why these two guys are the top and the rest are all chumps and have no chance of success. They're all wannabes. One of these two guys is going to be governor, going to be mayor. I think it's Cuomo still.
Politics and insider consultants. I do have experience, however, with winning $450 million in debt relief for thousands of working class taxi drivers and actually delivering it to the working class people.
Thank you, Mr. Mamdani.
So I thought he kind of crushed him in that exchange.
Of course you do, because you're both far lefties. Of course you think that, but that's fine. I want you to see that piece too, also to see where that thing is going. That's why these guys have a chance. And for those of you who don't live in New York City, it may seem odd that I talk this way, that I show you what's happening. But this is a lot of major cities, not just New York, obviously New York, but not just New York. A lot of major cities still think this way. So I thought that was an interesting piece. Let me grab some more comments and questions, guys. I hope that was interesting, at least understand that. And if you guys like it, please, as always, click that button known as like, share this to the best of your ability. It does matter. Let me try to grab some comments here. You guys can put a lot of these out here. All righty. Detroit Lions, I never laughed and learned so much. Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. Mike says, can't they both just lose? Mike, sadly, no, they can't. But yes, at the same time is ideal, but one after the other is acceptable too, so long as neither ever attains any position of authority. I think you and I both know, bro. Both, one of those guys is winning. One of them is. I still think Cuomo's going to win. I have not changed my opinion. And I think he's going to win because he has enough money to do a full court press these last three weeks. It was 3 weeks till the election, 3 weeks. These last 3 weeks, full court press against Mamdani. I think he's still going to win. I do. I think he's still going to win. So, yes. All righty. Let's see if I can go here. Phil says, you come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding. Nice. Very nice, Godfather. Very nice. Absolutely. Very nice. That's good. That's very good. All righty. Mike's talking to Kim and says, I'm sure Mamdani's building his resume for a bigger run like senator. I agree with you, Mike. I think this is a good move for Mamdani, win, lose, or draw. It's a good move for him. I think you're right. That is, he knows that even if he wins, it's magic for him, right? If he loses, this has been very good for him, even if he loses. I think you're right. I could see him trying a Senate run, but I don't know. The issue is he does like AOC. They know each other and they get along. If AOC wants to make that run, I don't see him primarying her. He owes her too much. They're both young. They're going to want to be in the same team, right? I don't see that. I could see Mamdani making a shift into something else. Maybe trying the second senator, right? So maybe if she hits one, he hits the other, and they both become senators. Maybe, but the problem is, and this is an issue. Some of you may not know this. They're both in my district. I know. I accept your condolences. Mamdani is my assemblyman, and AOC is my congressman. Yes. So I know the people who vote for them very well. They're my neighbors, the people I meet in the street. They're literally my friends. I know the people who vote for them. So when I tell you what they're thinking, this is not me pulling it out of thin air. This is me hearing those people tell me these things. Yes, literally Mamdani is my assemblyman and AOC is my congressperson. So yes, both of those are true. So anyway, Daniel says, I would vote for the non-Zionists before the rest of them. Mamdani's the only one who said he wouldn't visit the Holy Land first. That was an interesting piece. I didn't bring that piece up, but you know what? Let me do that now. The part that was great for him, and again, across the country versus New York, right? Is when they asked about, as New York mayor, would you travel across the world, whatever, go to the Middle East? And he was like, no, my focus is on New York, and I'll only go there. Everyone else did no, we're going to make the Jews happy and go to Israel. Everyone else had that. He's the only one. No. Now, that was smart. No one's going to believe Mamdani all of a sudden loves Israel. They're not going to believe him. So he didn't even bother trying. He just doubled down. That was his best option, Daniel. And it was a smart move, right? For those who don't know, everyone was like, no, we'll go to Israel because there's people in New York who literally say Israel is New York's 6th borough. Yes. Some of you just threw up a little bit. But it's true. There are people who actually say that. Israel is New York's 6th borough. Yes. And he said, no, I'm not going, which for him was right. That was the smart move. He should have said that. Yes. So let's see here. James says, personally, I think with everything going between Elon and Trump, that Trump's mouth may write a check his ass can't cash. If Trump keeps going the way he is, Musk may decide to either start giving money to a third party or start his own party. What do you think? I don't think that's that easy at all. I think Trump is still very powerful and influential. I think Trump can affect Musk's money, his contracts. Trump is petty. So is Musk. They're both very wealthy, petty men. I do not think it's that easy. I think both of them could hurt each other. Yeah, I don't think it's that easy. Could it happen? Yes, but they could hurt each other. This is not one-sided at all. So yeah. Michael's going to say, while Mamdani was right to say he would stay in New York City, as a mayor, going overseas is a waste of money. He also clearly has a massive bias in favor of Hamas, a fact to consider. No, that's not true. Not in favor of Hamas. That's not true. He's anti-Zionist. It's anti-Israel versus pro-Hamas. I know everyone wants to say anyone who doesn't like Israel is pro-Hamas. I know that's a Republican talking point. It's just not true. But I get it. Yeah. So let me see here. Let me go down here. Okay. Yeah, you guys are fighting on this. Daniel, okay. Yeah, Daniel says Palestine and Hamas, and then he says Daniel let the government of Gaza as Hamas. Okay, so that means every single person who comes to America loves Trump because Trump's elected president. That doesn't fly, Mike. That doesn't fly, right? So when Clinton was president, you loved Clinton because you loved America still. I was in the Marine Corps when Clinton was president. I think you were too. I don't know if you were, but I think you were when Clinton was president. So now we loved Clinton because we were Marines during Clinton time, or whatever, right? I mean, if you were, but. I still love my country when Clinton was president. I loved my country when Obama was president. So now we all love Obama. Not how that works, brother. That's talking points. Not true. Amber says, as a crunchy mom, I voted Trump because he was found guilty of felonies in a criminal trial and was found liable for XA, SA, and business for civil trials. I like all of that stuff. you may be a libertarian, Amber, because that's libertarian stuff. Like getting arrested and stuff, that's street cred for libertarians. So you might be a libertarian. So, and Daniel goes, yeah. So are all Americans ours by default? Yes, it's not true, Daniel. That's talking point, Republican talking points. It's not true at all. It's just talking points. Let's see here. Kenneth knows he's affordable housing. If you look to Argentina, the best way to reduce cost of housing is to remove rent controls. True, Ken. True. Absolutely. Yes. Robert says, I think the other candidates pointed out Cuomo's various backers. Yep. Cuomo will probably win the Democratic nomination because those backers donate to the parties as they donate to the candidates. The parties support the candidate with the most donations. Sadly, he'll probably win. I'm with you on it, Robert. I think he's going to win. I do. Look, is there a chance Mamdani wins because of ranked choice voting? Yes, there is a chance. If all of them coalesce against it and the dream thing works, which is don't rank Eric or Andrew for mayor, it's possible. Possible. I don't think likely, but it is possible. It is possible. So yeah. All righty. Let me keep going down here if I can. Shelley goes, this guy has ideas but no plan to pay for it. Well, he's got a plan. It's a bad plan. It's just a bad plan. It is a plan. It's just bad, but it is a plan. We're just going to magically tax the rich people and they'll never leave. They'll just stay here and pay it because that works all the time, except never. Dave says, Larry, the goal is to make school even more like a job, 8 to 5 with an hour off for lunch, or 9 to 6 with an hour off for lunch. Basically a 40-hour education/work week. Is that the plan? True. Let's keep your kids in indoctrination centers for the entire day. You go off and work, and we'll just keep your kids. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? It is terrible. Elect a new DA in 2025, says vote for Larry Sharpe. Yes, that is the right answer. Yes, that is the right answer. Mike got to say this one. We're both New Yorkers, so of course he's allowed to say this one. I get it. Makes sense. If Cuomo was so great, then why is New York City and the state so fundamentally screwed up? True. Cuomo crushed the foundation of the state and city. True. He's terrible. To be very clear, I was trying to do what I think I do better than most, which is I try to explain what's working and not working, even when I disagree with the people of the outcomes. But I try to explain how the thing's actually working and why it is working, right? I would never vote for Cuomo, but I understand why many New Yorkers will. I would never vote for Mamdani, but I understand why many would, and I understand what's happening. So that's what I'm trying to achieve. But yeah, I get it. Jesus, thank you for being a member, says, even if Mamdani wins, how would he really get the things he wants done? I feel like there's so much more against him even if he wins. Jesus, you're correct. You are correct. The reality of it is, Kathy Hochul is not a hardcore lefty at all. She's not. That's one reason why Cuomo picked her. She's not a hardcore lefty. She's much more of a moderate establishment Democrat. Mamdani's an actual leftist, like he is a DSA member. And if you remember, when Cuomo was governor and de Blasio was mayor, they fought all the time. They fought constantly. Why? De Blasio's an actual socialist. Cuomo's not. Cuomo's a Cuomo. He's whatever gets him in power. That's all Cuomo cares about. But de Blasio's an actual leftist. Mamdani's an actual leftist. Hochul's not. She's whatever gets her elected. That's all. Whatever that would take. Whatever gets my people paid, whatever keeps me in power, whatever keeps me giving out cash, that's what I am. What's that? I'm that. Whatever that is. She'd be a Republican tomorrow. She'd be a libertarian tomorrow. Green tomorrow. Wouldn't care. Just as long as she made power. You're right. He does have a massive road to hoe, and he does not. What Mamdani doesn't get, and I understand, he doesn't understand that if he actually were to win somehow, the establishment will be all over him. All over him. Because he has to fail so that the Democratic establishment can prove that real lefties are worthless. They have to prove that, right? Remember, if you notice, everything that the Democrats are saying from the last election is the reason why we lost is because Kamala Harris was so much of a Marxist. I mean, not true at all, but they've been saying that. She's a communist. That's why. If she wasn't a communist, then we would have won. That's what they've been saying. I mean, that's not true, but they've been saying that forever. And they would do the same thing with him. If Mamdani actually wins, the Republicans won't have to stop him. They won't. Establishment Democrats will stop him. Republicans will be a ride. They'll be watching. Okay, get them. Get them, Democrats. They won't say it. They won't do a thing. Established Democrats will crush Mamdani. Republicans will watch and laugh. That's all they'll do. They'll watch and laugh. Matthew with $5, my friend. All you show me is that 70% of New York voters are retarded. I like Mamdani just for his response on visiting Israel or Ukraine first. He said, yeah, look, I'm what I do like about Mom. I like certain things about him. I do. Look, I had him on my show. I like the guy. I don't know him, like, we're not buddies, but like if I see him I say hi when I see him once in a while I see him in the neighborhood, I'll say hi. When I see AOC, I'll say hi. They know who I am. We just say hi. Tiffany Caban is my city council person. When I see her in the neighborhood, Tiffany Caban is one of the hardest working people in my neighborhood. She is in my neighborhood often in my neighborhood. So when I see her, I say hi. They know who I am. I like Mamdani. He's a nice guy. He's just so insanely wrong, but he's a nice guy. And I honestly believe, I know some of you don't like this, but I think he honestly wants to fix things. I don't think he's lying at all. I don't think he's trying to hurt at all. His policies would hurt New York City. That is true. I don't think he actually I think he believes his own hype. I do. And the fact that he was irresponsible visiting Israel and Ukraine, it's because he believes it. He doesn't care about fighting in Ukraine. He doesn't care about fighting in Israel. He doesn't care about stuff. He doesn't care about Israel. He doesn't care. He's being honest. Look, when Trump said he was going to do stuff, and he came in and did it, even though I hate that tariff shit, he told us he was going to do it, and he's doing it. And I give him credit for it, even though I don't like it. Trump said he's going to do it. He believes in it. He's doing it. Okay. I cannot like it all day long. I respect it. He said he's doing it. Mamdani's the same in that regard. Mamdani don't care about Israel at all. Let it burn. Doesn't care. He's not going there. He said it. He's not going. He doesn't care. Okay. I'll take it. I'll take the honesty. So, Matt, in that case, I'm with you, right? There are certain things in Mamdani I actually like, even though his policies are bad. I do think he's honest. I do think he actually cares. I do. Cuomo does not care. Cuomo is just about power. Now, Cuomo may be a better mayor, to be forward. He might be. Because, he might do good things just on chance. Because he's trying to just do things that makes him look good or gains power. So he might. It's possible Cuomo will be a better mayor. It's possible. But he's a worse person. For sure, a worse person. Shelly, thank you for being a member for 2 months. Thank you. Hochul took phones away from students so kids can't post what's going on there. Yes. I remember. Yes. Yeah. She's not a nice person either. Hochul's a bad person also. Yes. Hochul's a bad person. There's a lot of bad people in politics, and there's a couple of them right there. 100%. Yes. All righty. Grab some more of these. Phil says, Jimmy McMillan, I'm friends with him on Facebook. Oh, I didn't know that. You're buddies with Jimmy McMillan. That's amazing. I love it. All right. Let me grab a couple of these if I can. All righty. Peace is over on Rumble. And he says, Elon, if you're serious about a new party for the 80% in the middle, you need to check out Larry Sharpe and the Sharpe Way. He's a Marine vet, entrepreneur, and the only candidate who actually visits every New York county, listened, and offered real solutions. If you want to disrupt the broken system in 2026, Larry's your guy. Imagine what $2.5 million can do for a real alternative in New York. Hashtag Sharpe Way. Yes. Peace logic is correct. Thank you, Peace. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I definitely appreciate that. Yes, that is true. Absolutely true. All righty. That was good there. Grab a couple more of this if I can. Okay. James says, if I had come up with a plan to handle the housing crisis immediately, I'd allow the people to sleep in the local government buildings. This would punch the politicians for being stupid and gritty. That's good and grifty. I like that. I like that. Yeah. That's nice. That is good. Missy, oh, you're quoting me. When people have the choice between no plan and a terrible plan, they choose a terrible plan. Every time. Every time, Missy, you get it. I say it all the time because it's true. People want help. And when Mamdani says, I'll freeze the rent, cause magic powers, and I'll make the buses free, cause magic powers, and I'll have the state take your kids forever, cause magic powers. How will you pay for it? The rich will just give me money. Why? Cause magic powers. None of this has ever worked ever, but this time it will. Why? Cause magic powers. That's it. But it's a plan. Terrible magical plan, but totally a plan. And a way to pay for it. Magic. And we all know the only thing that's magic is keto. So yeah, that's it. There we go. Gene says, but Larry, they brought in all those immigrants to offset the tax dollars they lost when conservatives left, didn't they? Well, that would have been nice, Gene. Let's hope that happens. Yes, absolutely. Mike is really, okay, Mike, you got a lot to say this time. Okay, I didn't see all this stuff. You got a lot to talk about today. All right. He says, no one ever says what the fair share, how much will government take, because no such thing. 100% true. Fair share means as much as I can possibly get right now. That's what fair share means, Mike. How much can I bilk you for now? And I say now because next week that will change. Because if I can get more out of you, then it's more. So fair share is how much can I bilk you for now? And that will change as I try to get more and more out of you. That's how that works. You are completely correct. And that's why they won't say a number. Because it's fair share. How much can I get out of you without you leaving or without enough of you leaving? That's it. So yes. Joel's with you. He says, question for the candidate, what is your fair share? I ask because I'm sure that each of you tries to pay the least amount possible. I will say that if I ever got asked that question, I'd be like, I pay the least amount legally that I can possibly pay. And I'm proud of that. The least I can possibly pay, legally. Stand my agent, legally. The least I can legally pay. That's what I want to pay. The least I can legally pay, 100%. And I'm proud of that. Like, that's a good thing. Yes. Robert says, up in Sullivan County, New York, buses are available at no cost to the customer. They suck. They are very slow, and they'll have stops that are valuable to patrons. Well, no, Robert, you understand. His aren't going to be that way because magic. So that's your problem, Robert. You didn't count the magic part. See, he's going to put the magic on it, and then the free buses will all of a sudden not suck, and they all of a sudden be great because free stuff's always great. I mean, we know this. I mean, that old saying, those things are free lunch, utter lie. There's free lunches everywhere. Free is always good. Okay, except for always. Free is always good. Free is always best. Highest quality, free every time. Except every time. Except for always. Free is always the best. Always, every time. Yeah, every time. Free is always the best, right? So yes. All righty. Mike says, yes, I saw this segment on Breaking Points. They up Mamdani at every chance. Illogically so. Correct. They are card-carrying socialists. Correct. Because the segment sound correct. Yes. Again, Mike, everything correct. Yes, yes, and yes. The issue is, this is why Sauger doesn't realize. If you've noticed what Breaking Points has done recently, this is how you know they're in trouble. They're discounting their services and now doing a monthly instead of a yearly now. Why? Because they're becoming CNN without Sauger. Not that Sauger's super conservative. He's not super conservative. But compared to them, that guy's Heritage Foundation. Compared to them, yeah, that guy's Grover Norquist. Compared to them. That guy, I don't know, that guy's Billy Graham. Sauger's Billy Graham compared to these guys. You're totally correct. I know Sauger's got a kid. I get it. Sauger, if you happen to be watching this show, I don't know if you are, but if you are, if you want to provide for your kid, leave your kid to your wife, take your happy ass back to Breaking Points, and fix this joint. Or you're going to be going someplace else. You're not going to be in Breaking Points no more. So I get you love your kid. I got kids. I love my kids too. And one of the best things I can do for my kids is go make money. So I'm going to tell you, Sauger, my personal opinion. You do as you see fit, my personal opinion. Paternity leave's over. Get your ass back there. Or as Arnold Schwarzenegger would say, get your ass to Mars. Do that. You need to get yourself back right now. It's important. Some of you got that joke. Some of you did not. Anyway, yes, thank you. I think you're correct. It's obvious. And they don't have, and they had on as one of their guest hosts, Emma Vigeland from Sam Cedars show. Like, what do you, and not even with Emily, who is kind of right-ish, not even with her, with Crystal. They're doing double lefties almost every day. Like, Sauger, what are you doing, brother? What are you doing? Just saying. What are you doing? Anyway, I'll move on. I'll move on. So, all right. Let me grab down here if I can. And it says, ever consider switching to an ad block friendly browser? No. I just use premium more. I have too many YouTube accounts And the ones I usually do is I wind up using just the ones that have, I have a couple that have premium, a couple that don't. I don't want to pay premium for like 5 accounts. So I pay premium on 2, and on 3 I don't. And some of them I pop back and forth, and because each one has, the reason why I have so many accounts is each one has their own algorithm. So each one shows me something different, so I don't get caught in a bubble. So depends on where I am is the one I happen to pick. So sometimes when I put it up, it goes without any ads. Sometimes it goes with ads. Depends on which one I'm on. So that's why. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. That's why I don't want to pay for like 5 of them. Right? Maybe I should. Anyway. Phil says, Larry was in my basement once. It's historically significant. True. That's true. I did an event in your basement once. No, I was there for an event in your basement. Yes, true. I was. It's true, guys. I was in Phil's basement. That's accurate. That's an accurate statement. So yes, now it is landmarked. You may not change your home anymore until your community says it's okay. Yes. John says, if Cuomo is elected, can we have a statue of him grabbing the butt of the statue? That is brilliant. John. Brilliant. Yes. Brilliant. Yes. Missy says, Cuomo, elderly killer and grabber of butts. Remember, you have to put the of in it. That's how they do it from Game of Thrones. So it's killer of elderly, right? And grabber of butts. That's how it is. First of her name. In this case, second of his name, right? Banisher of conservatives. Killer of grandparents. Grabber of butts. That is how you announce King Cuomo, the second of his name. Just so you're aware of that. That's how, just get it right, miss, so you don't get in trouble if you come here. That's all. Dave says, Larry, JFK and Marilyn Monroe said supposedly spent the night in this motel in New York City. So that city motel can never be upgraded. Is that what you're saying? Yes, that's what I'm saying. If the people locally want to make sure that nothing changes ever, they say that. Yes, correct. 100%. I wish it wasn't true, but it is. Yes. Mike says, second term, Pelosi smacked AOC with a glass of water running with a D comment. AOC calmed down quicker. I remember that. And that's my point, Mike. She totally sold out. And people were like, what happened to her? And I think AOC honestly believed that she was gonna, if she did the right thing, I think she believed this. If she did the right thing and followed the rules and did what Pelosi said, they would give her some type of cool position and she can make change. I think she believed that. And then she got reality. And she was like, oh, that's not how any of this works. No, that's how none of this works. None of it works that way at all. That's not how it works. You do what they say and you just do what they say. You get what you get. You don't get upset and you do what they say. That's how it actually works, Democratic Party. Right? That's the truth. And she figured that out. And it was too late. She'd already sold out. So now she's trying desperately to kind of get back that rebel thing. She's trying to get that back. For a lot of people on the left, Mike, I don't think she can get it back. But I think there are enough for her to become popular that enough will be like, we need something. Democrats don't have anybody fighting right now. I mean, they got Cuomo fighting, I guess, right? They need some fighters. And if she can prove herself to be a fighter, Mamdani can be a fighter, the Dems will get behind them. They need fighters. They need fighters. And right now, I mean, the only person who's in any way beating up Trump is like his own people, if anybody is, if you count Elon fighting him. That's it. No one else is really beating up Trump. Democrats aren't beating him. Trump's beating Democrats left and right. And Democrats know that and can't stand it. And they want someone who's going to fight Trump. And Cuomo's going to say, I'm going to go beat up Trump. If they buy it, they will vote for him. They want someone to fight Trump. I understand them, right? I mean, unless someone sees something I don't see Democrats beating up Trump at all now. At all. No one's fighting him. He's fighting his own people, if anything. He's fighting the establishment, if anything. He's not fighting Democrats. They're doing nothing. So someone's going to say, I'm going to go beat up Trump. Democrats go, okay, I'll take it. Who's going to fight him? Okay. That's what I think is happening. I mean, if you think I'm wrong, I'm open to being wrong. So, yes. James goes back on to saying we should add a none of the above in all elections. True. Not only that, we need to enact something that if NOTA were to win an election, nobody gets. That's how it's supposed to work. Yes. When you do ranked choice voting and none of the above, that's what happens. That's how it should work. That's exactly right. But the problem is, of course, that the establishment doesn't want that. But yes, that's what it should be. I agree. Matt says, what are your thoughts on Elon starting another party? There's 3 parties you can grab. Starting another party is virtually impossible. Ask the Forward Party. ask We the People Party, ask No Labels. I mean, it's virtually impossible. So there are parties who are already here. He should grab one. He can't grab the Greens. They're not going to be with him at all. They're far too socialist to be an Elon supporter. They're just not. So that's a non-starter. Libertarians is one. I'm here for it 100%. But to be fair, Constitution could take him too. They're not as big. They're probably about 15, 16 states, I think, in that area. So they have some infrastructure. I know the guys who run it, right? They might take them because they would want to grow that infrastructure, and they've got some already. They're very conservative, but they're also conservative physically also, which should be on his side. So they could go. He could go Constitution. He could go Forward because Forward has a lot more cash, but he has cash too. There's a lot of Forward people who are excited still, who are looking for something. Forward's only in like 5 states, 4 states, 5 states, something like that. They're only like 5 states. So you could do Forward, Libertarian, or Constitution. Those are 3 parties he could go after. He could We the People too. We the People's in like 5 states too. So he could do We the People. It's like 5 states, maybe 6 in that area. Forward, 5 or 6 states. Constitution, like 15 states, something like that. Or even Libertarian, which is in 48. Well, Libertarians are in all 50 states, but ballot access is in like 48. So yeah, those are his parties you should go for. Starting a new party is a bad idea. It took RFK Jr. $20 million, $20 million just to get ballot access, and he couldn't make it in all states. So yeah, that's not the issue. I wouldn't do it. So anyway, okay. Let me grab a couple more of these if I can. All righty. There are so many of these that you got picked up. I appreciate it. So yeah. Mastermind Hour says, Larry, don't threaten me with a good time. That would be a good time. I agree. Liberty Lady says, this is why I want political parties abolished. No R's, no D's. Do not even L's by people's names. Yep. No R's, D's, or even L's by people's names. Make everyone get the same amount of signatures. You got 5 or 10 names. You have to know about their F. Yes, I agree. Their platforms. Agreed. Yes. That would be. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. Yes, I completely agree. JCab says, try to say this in the characters. If the problem is voter education, then the solution is more civic education. Not rejecting improvements to the process. Simpler does not necessarily equal better. If the current system keeps looking at independence and third-party voices, true. I'd rather see a system that reflects actual voter intent, even if it takes a bit more effort to understand it at first. Yes, yes, and yes. You did it. Nicely done. 100%. Yes, that is the right answer. Yes, well done. So, all right, if I can grab a couple more of these. All righty. Mike says, absolutely correct. At Larry, only Trump admins hurting Trump. Yes, Dems have no choice or plans, so they're fishing for scraps. It's obvious, Mike. Yes, it's obvious. They're taking whatever they can get. They're like trying to put people together. Okay, you got an army? Go fight. Okay, can you get an army together? I got 6 dudes. Take it. Go. That's all they got. You're right. Thus, Dem voters are demoralized and progressives are trying to capitalize to get a lead. Yep, I think that's correct. Yeah, I think that is obvious in my mind. I think some people don't see that, but I think you and I do see that. It's absolutely true. They need someone to do something, or they're just falling apart. And they can't figure out how to get men. That was my point. I'm going to do a show on this. Maybe that'll be my AMA tomorrow. I'm doing an AMA tomorrow. Maybe I'll bring this piece up. It is the idea of not even bothering to go for men for the Democrats. I might bring it up. So, yeah. Mike says, I agree. Breaking Point is suffering without Saga. Yes. Absolutely suffering. Yes. Phil says, Saga and Emily shows are the best. Ooh, that's nice. I like that. Yeah. Well, Emily actually she's conservative-ish, but the problem is her personality isn't strong. Saga has a powerful personality, which helps, right? It's a powerful personality, so it helps. That's the issue, right? Ryan says, I haven't been a crystal ball fan since she was on MSNBC. Yeah, she hasn't stopped, right? She hasn't stopped. That's the issue. She hasn't. Guys, I want to ask one more time, if I could, please click that button known as like. It does matter. If you have not shared or reposted, please do so. If you have not clicked the like button, you literally think Cuomo's a good guy. Yeah, you do. You do. Did you click the like button? You didn't? You think Cuomo's a good guy. That's you. You like Cuomo. He's a good guy. I didn't make the rules. I did make the rule. And that's the rule. Did you click it? You better click it. Oh, you think it's a good guy? I don't. I'm just saying. That's it. Follow me if you could on Rumble. Also on the Facebook too. It does matter. Every little follow does matter. I do appreciate all you guys super chatting and ranting me. It does matter, of course. If you become a member, I'd appreciate it. $49 per month. Click that join button. Do that. I will be on tomorrow. Absolutely. I will be on tomorrow at 7 or maybe 8, probably 7, doing an AMA I'm not sure on what, so ask me anything. We chat about all kind of cool stuff. So much stuff came up. I'm also doing another, I may be doing a show actually on Sunday too, because I'm going to be off for a couple of days. So I may do a show on Sunday to make up for it. I may do that also. We'll see. Remember the algorithm. After the show, please put a comment down. And the comment I want you to put on is, what do you think about New York City politics? I gave you a lot about New York City politics. Please tell me what you think about New York City politics. Whether you care or not, I don't care. Tell me what you care. Say I don't care, whatever. But put a comment on what you think about New York City politics, if you would, please. And remember, if this is not live, 2 videos are going to pop up coming up here. Please click on either one of them and watch it for at least 8 or 9 minutes. YouTube loves that. I will see you all very soon.